Hello, welcome back to another one of my rambling about movies. And today we will be talking about Michael Mann. Definitely one of my favorite director. And whenever he is involved in a movie, I'm usually interested in finding out more about that movie and definitely would like to go see it. He's not very prolific in making a lot of movies, because he tend to be very hands-on in writing the script, directing, producing. He's do all three phases of movie making. A lot like Ridley Scott. He's one of those guys that it's involved in all three phases of making a movie. So they just don't churn out movie every year. They just can't do it. Maybe every 2 or 3 years. But Michael Mann, for those that are familiar with him, of course, he got famous for Miami Vice on TV. I definitely was a fan of the show. He have a certain style that fit the 80s very well with the way he incorporate music. I wouldn't say he's flashy, but there are certain ways Michael Mann's movies tend to incorporate a lot of music, uh, good music in my opinion, and a lot of scenes where you just see the character, beautiful scenery and music. He does that very well in many of his films. Um, and most of the time it's very appropriate as far as when he incorporate music, and it is often, and silence. He have his own style. It's very unique. If you're familiar with Michael Mann music movies, you especially Miami Vice. If you're familiar with the way how he loved to shoot a scene of the car driving down the street with the view over the hood, the headlights, and the music blasting. That can go on for 30 seconds to 2 minutes, but that's how he like to show his visual. Now, one of his very early movie that I think is really good, that was kind of forgotten or missed by a lot of people, is Manhunter. Manhunter came out about during the years where he was big with Miami Vice. He put out Manhunter, and I really enjoyed the movie. And if you have a chance to watch it on Netflix or Amazon Prime, or I would recommend it if you like that kind of movie. Manhunter is involved Hannibal Lecter, the famed Hannibal Lecter. It's the movie before Silence of the Lamb. So it involved the character Hannibal Lecter. It has William Peterson, the actor, one of his earlier movie, and I like him a lot. He's one of my favorite actors that I think is underutilized. I mean, he was one of the main reasons that I watched the show CSI on TV. He has a quiet way of delivering his line that it works for me. For some reason, I just like his manners, the way he delivers his lines is great. And he was a lead investigator in the movie, and it is a fantastic movie. Great music, uh, an overall great cast. It's very well done. I think you know I think it survived well over time. I rewatched it again maybe 2 months ago, and I enjoyed it. it's even though you're talking about a movie that was done in the mid 80s, now almost 30 years later, and I watch it and I'm like, it's still really good, and if you haven't seen it, I think you will be pleasantly surprised. I hope you will be pleasantly surprised of that movie. Now, what really launched Michael Mann into my heart is, favorite director is his next big blockbuster. It's by far my favorite American Indian epic history time piece, The Last of the Mohican. It is an absolutely masterpiece of a movie where I felt that it is near perfect. That was one of the movies that had just gorgeous scenes, beautiful shots, sweeping mountains, landscape, and the acting up and down are just perfectly cast. I love the Daniel Day-Lewis character. I love his Indian brother. I love his Indian father. Madeline Stowe played the daughter of the colonel. I love her. I love her father. It's a beautiful story. It was so well shot, and then the music, the Celtic music for that movie was just gorgeous. It's one of the few soundtrack that I actually went out and buy because I just love it so much when I saw the movie. And the Last of the Mohican is an epic movie that I think if you haven't seen it, it's highly recommended. I can't imagine somebody not enjoying that movie. That was one of the movies that I felt as I was sitting there in the movie theater, it kept getting better and better and better. There was like no wasted scenes, and the ending was just epic, epic. I mean, perhaps one of the most beautiful non-spoken romance in any movies was the love between Daniel Day-Lewis character, Indian character, his Indian brother character, love, unspoken love of that character, and the younger sister of Madeline Stowe, character. And near the end, when the younger sister was taken away by Magua, West Studi play the bad villain amazing job as the Mohawk. And as he took the younger sister away into the mountain, one of my favorite scenes is when the Indian brother, he saw them take her away and he took off without even thinking twice. And I remember sitting there in the movie theater saying, "Go get her." And then there was a big battle, and then he was killed, and it was just an amazing scene of his father watching his son getting killed and scream out in agony. That was very emotional. I remember sitting in the movie theater seeing that scene and saying to myself, "No, they killed him." And it was a powerful scene. And then of course, as he get killed, the younger sister, instead of giving herself to Magua, she jumped off the cliff of the mountain to follow her love, and it was it's beautiful. I mean, I can't say enough about that movie, but if you haven't seen it, go watch it. And then Michael Mann followed that incredible movie with another great movie, Heat. Heat is amazing in my opinion. I don't think it got a whole lot of buzz when it came out, but to me, it's definitely one of the smartest crime, caper, cop, thriller, detective movie out there. It has a great cast. You have De Niro playing the bad guy. You have Pacino playing the lead detective here. You also have Wes Studi coming back. Often you see director going back to the casting and use many of the same actor again, so it's not a surprise. It was a pleasant surprise for me to see Wes Studi in this movie also. And then you have the young, beautiful Ashley Judd, and then you have Val Kilmer. But it's a great movie because I think it's one of the few movie where the bad guy, the bad guys were the highlight of the movie. You get to see their inner lives, working in relationship, and see what make them tick. You know, it's a great movie, and you know, it's it's one of those movies where you almost have to admire the way the bad guys operate because they have a certain code that they have to go with, and it was so well done that one of my favorite scenes between Pacino and De Niro's when they sit at the coffee. One of the very few scenes they had together because there was always a cat and mouse game between Al Pacino trying to catch De Niro and his crew, but they finally met up in a coffee shop, and De Niro was awesome. He was just sitting there. He's just like, I don't care. When the time comes, you better be ready to pull the trigger. When the time comes, I'm ready to walk away from everything. Basically, he's saying he has no attachment. If he has to walk away from his loved one or his girlfriend or whatever, if it is between choosing freedom or being caught, he will walk, he will shoot, he will kill, he will do whatever it takes to be free and to keep on doing what he's doing. It's a great scenes, and the shootout scenes at the end are just mind-boggling great. Sadly, many criminals has copycat that scenes in real crimes. Since that movie came out, you have seen multiple shootout in California or other places where the criminals would wear full body armor, and they would go into a crazy shootout with policemen because they had all this body armor that they can withstood a lot of heavy firing, and that was used in the movie. I'm pretty sure the criminals copycat that part of the movie, but that shootout scene in the movie was phenomenal. And once again, I think Michael Mann did a masterful job of shooting, directing, casting, you name it. It was a great movie. And Michael Mann has done quite a few other movies after that, maybe not so great. And he of course he launched the remake of Miami Vice, the movie with Colin Farrell, and that just didn't work. It was okay. I saw it. It was a one and done for me. It was not, for some reason it just didn't work on the big screen. And then he did Collateral with Jamie Foxx and Tom Cruise, and that was okay. I like it a lot less than most critics love it or like it. When I saw Collateral, I thought it was okay. Not overwhelmingly like wow, that's a must see. I put that nowhere near the level of Heat or The Last of the Mohican as far as quality. But he hasn't done a whole heck of a lot of stuff lately, and so I'm look forward. I know he's doing a movie that's supposed to come out next year. I think called Cyber. It's another crime movie, uh, but there is very little information about what it is about. But when it come out, I hopefully will go see it and do a review of that. But if you haven't seen any of the movies I mentioned, as far as um, Manhunter, Last of the Mohican, or Heat, you can't go wrong with any of those three movies. They are fantastic movie by Michael Mann. Anyhow, thanks for watching another one of my rambling about movies.